listening to the DolphinsTalk.com podcast, the most listened to daily Miami Dolphins podcast on the internet.
Miami's got the Dolphins, the greatest of all.
Come on, Dolphins fans. Time to fins up.
We're in the air, we're on the ground, we're always in control. And when you say Miami, you're talking Super Bowl. Cause we're the Miami Dolphins, Miami Dolphins, Miami Dolphins number one. Miami Dolphins, Miami Dolphins, Miami Dolphins number one.
Hello, Miami Dolphins fans. How are you today? And thank you for listening to the DolphinsTalk.com podcast on this Saturday, July the 26th. I am your host, Mike Oliva, flying solo, as we have a ton of news to talk about in the world of the Miami Dolphins. Boy, was it a busy Saturday. They signed 2 new cornerbacks to add to their secondary. We had a practice. We've got news about Minkah Fitzpatrick. We had 2 other cornerbacks have to leave practice because they're hurt. It's a lot of news about the secondary, but there's a lot of it. And plus, we'll have a rundown here of everything that took place on the practice field Saturday morning. But before we get to that, let's get some business stuff out of the way. First off, if you're watching on YouTube, do me a favor right now. Smash that like button. Smash it, smash it, smash it, smash it, smash it. Also, hit the subscribe button as well. So when a new show drops or we go live, you can watch it as we're live. Also, a shout out to the sponsor of today's show, Canes, where everyone go to the website, caneswear.com, for the best and most affordable Miami Dolphins apparel on the internet. If you need a new hat, shirt, hoodie, jacket, socks, something for the home or something for the office or something for the car with a Miami Dolphins logo on it, caneswear.com is the website to go. They are located at 2655 South University Drive in Davie, Florida. They have it all as well. They all stuff for the Miami Dolphins, but they also have stuff for the Miami Hurricanes, the Florida Panthers, the Miami Heat, the Miami Marlins. But if you're a fan of the Dolphins and you're looking for just something new to treat yourself, because sometimes you got to treat yourself, folks, and you want a new Miami Dolphins hat, and you want a new shirt, or say you're going to hit the links. I want a new cool Miami Dolphins polo shirt. Go to caneswear.com. They ship internationally as well. And if you love this content that we provide each and every day, sign up for Dolphins Talk Extra, our Patreon service, patreon.com/Dolphins Talk. $3 a month. We're getting ready to have signups for our fantasy football league where you can win really, really cool prizes. And we also have a pick'em league. We have a survivor pool league. We have a private message board, bonus podcasts, some extra podcasts about the Dolphins. Excuse me, some not about the Dolphins. And we have so much fun. Patreon.com/Dolphins Talk. It's $3 a month. The best $3 you'll spend. All right, let's get to the news. Well, before practice this morning, the Miami Dolphins, who are just in dire need of help at cornerback, they have, I know people have said it on NFL Network, ESPN and stuff. They have the worst secondary in the NFL on paper heading into this season. It's so bad. It's not even funny. And they lost Artie Burns this week to an ACL injury. He's going to miss the entire season. So the Miami Dolphins, they obviously signed Cornell Armstrong, I think Thursday evening, but he hasn't played in the NFL since 2022. So you don't know what you're getting from Cornell Armstrong. So Saturday morning, they signed cornerback Jack Jones, who played with the Raiders most recently, to a 1-year deal. Jack Jones, it's a bit of a mixed bag here with Jack Jones. There's some positives, there's some negatives. Let's get into it. Jones was a 4th-round pick in 2022 by the New England Patriots. He spent a short time there, and then he got in some trouble off the field there. He was arrested at an airport for having 2 loaded guns. He missed a curfew, and the Patriots they had enough, and they let him go, and they cut him. The past 2 seasons, he's played with the Las Vegas Raiders, and he's been with the Raiders the past 2 years. He is 27 years old. He's played in 42 NFL games. He started 21 NFL games. Out of those 21 starts, 16 of them came last season with the Raiders, where he had 3 interceptions. Last year with the Raiders, he gave up 8 touchdowns and had 15 missed tackles. If you're into PFF, here are Jack Jones's PFF numbers last season with the Raiders. For an overall grade at cornerback, he was 53.9. He rated 166 out of 222 cornerbacks. He had a coverage grade of 52.9, which had him ranked 168th out of 222 cornerbacks. And as a run defender, it was 58.6, rated 142 out of 222 cornerbacks. So the numbers aren't inspiring. The PFF numbers are below average, probably bottom third of all the cornerbacks in the league. But what he brings to this room, which literally no one else has, is experience. He started 16 games last year in the NFL. Granted, it was the Raiders; they didn't win a lot, but he has started games in this league, which is more than you can say about guys like Cam Smith, Ethan Bonner, Storm Duck. So he has experience. They brought him in. He was at practice today. And, I didn't hear if he did great or bad, but he was on the field. I know that. So throw Jack Jones into the mix. But the Dolphins were not done. They, now in practice today, which I'll talk about this next, two cornerbacks got hurt. Kader Kohu got hurt, and undrafted rookie BJ Adams got hurt, and he was carted off the field. So two more cornerbacks on top of Artie Burns go down today. So right after practice ended, pretty much, the Miami Dolphins signed free agent cornerback Mike Hilton. Now, Mike Hilton's got a little bit more of a resume than Jack Jones. And Mike Hilton is primarily a slot corner / nickel corner. He's not someone you're going to play on the outside. Now, it was interesting that they made this signing after practice. Why? Because in practice, the Miami Dolphins nickel corner, slot corner, Kader Kohu, goes down to an injury, leaves the field early in practice. He does not return. So we don't know this for a fact yet. And again, I'll talk about it next. Do they know that he might have a serious injury and he's going to miss time, or maybe miss the entire year? Let's hope not for that. So we need someone who can play that nickel corner spot. So let's go get Mike Hilton. I don't know. That is pure speculation on my part as of now. We don't have all the information. Or maybe they just were like, we need help in the secondary. I don't care where Mike Hilton plays. Just sign him because he can play. It's one or the other. I'll talk about that more in a second, though. Mike Hilton is 31 years old. And the past few seasons, he's played for Cincinnati. He's also played for Jacksonville. Now, he went undrafted in 2016. He's played for Jacksonville, New England, the Pittsburgh Steelers, and the Cincinnati Bengals. Last year in Cincinnati, he played in 16 games. He started 10 games last year. Again, another veteran cornerback with starting experience recently. Jack Jones, he started 16 games last year. Mike Hilton started 10 games last year. This is kind of what the Dolphins need. I'm not saying these guys are great. They're not. But compared to what we have already, they at least have experience of playing in real games. Last year, he had 1 interception. He has 13 career interceptions. If you're looking for a glimmer of hope here with Mike Hilton, here it is. Now, he's played in 123 games total since he has been in the league. He's got 56 starts in the league. But his PFF numbers last year are pretty stinking good, actually. Last year, Mike Hilton, PFF, his overall grade as a corner, 75.9, ranked him 24th out of 222 cornerbacks. A coverage grade, 68.5, ranking him 55th out of 222 cornerbacks. And get this, as at cornerback as a run defender, he graded 91.7, number one out of all cornerbacks in the NFL playing the run. So Mike Hilton's here to help as well. So Miami, it has 2 veteran corners. I think right now today, it's just kind of, I don't know if it's sad, if it's funny, if it's ironic, but on July 22nd, after 4 practices, I think, what do we go? Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Yeah. After 4 practices, the Miami Dolphins added their first and second string cornerback, I think. Kader Kohu, he is, but he's also a slot guy in the nickel. But you get my point. They added the 2 best cornerbacks on the roster today. Now, here's the thing. These guys are coming into a cornerback room that is void of talent. Cam Smith, which I will talk about here on the show later, has done nothing so far in 4 practices. It looks like the Cam Smith of last year and the Cam Smith the year before. To think you're going to get anything this year out of Cam Smith is laughable. He is just a bad football player. That's a pick in round 2. That's a bust. Storm Duck, he's a nice player, low ceiling. He's not someone who should start on an NFL team. if he's your fourth corner, fifth corner, that's fine. Somebody you want on the team, somebody you want coming off the bench, he can't start. I mean, you can't be a serious team and have Storm Duck as a starter. Same thing for Ethan Bonner. Kohu, you like, and he's playing for big money, so let's hope this injury for his sake and his wallet isn't serious, because this is the final year of his deal, and he's going to be a free agent. And he's had a nice little career in Miami, so he'll get a somewhat nice payday next offseason, but you want him at the nickel because that's where he excels. Anytime we put him to the outside, think the first game last year versus the Bills, when we had to put him to the outside, the Bills scored like 50 points and they torched him every play because Kidder cannot play the outside corner. He's a nickel corner. He's only a nickel corner, and that's okay because that's a huge spot in the NFL. But if you have the idea, well, let's sign Hilton and move him to the outside, that's not going to work. Just like if the deal with Hilton was, well, we're going to leave Kohu inside, we'll put Hilton outside on the boundary, that's not going to work. These two signings I am happy with just because we had nothing else, but make no mistake about it, folks. Even with these two moves and these two signings, Miami secondary still stinks. I mean, their cornerbacks room is just bad. Yes, who we signed today will help, but it's not like these are great players. They were unsigned on July 26th for a reason. For a reason. And the one guy, Jack Jones, let's just call it what it is. For an organization that's preached changing the culture, we got to be all in. We got to have guys have their head in it. They got to be serious about the game. There's a guy who brought two guns to an airport. I mean, come on. And this guy, I mean, and then he was cut by the Patriots because he wouldn't show up in time for curfew. So I get it when you're so hard up for any talent that you have to sort of turn a blind eye to things like that. I understand, but don't then turn around and preach how we're changing the culture, because you're not. You're not. But that's okay. I mean, it's fine, I guess. I mean, I don't know if it's okay. It just is what it is, I guess. So, yeah, they made the moves. They got a few more guys here with a little bit more experience, and we'll see how it goes. I don't know. And there was a report that Miami, from Josina Anderson, NFL insider Josina Anderson, who's very credible, who has a lot of great news and scoops. Miami sent Rasul Douglas a new offer on Thursday, and he turned it down. Now, you have to wonder, because he turned down this latest offer on Thursday, if Miami's just like, we're done with you. Bye-bye. We're not going to offer you a third time. Let's go pay Jack Jones. Let's go pay Mike Hilton. We're done chasing Rasul Douglas, which makes sense because here's the deal. Like I said, we had on the reporter from the Bills not that long ago. He was on this podcast, and I asked him about him. He goes, Mike, he's got nothing in the tank. He was terrible last year in Buffalo. So I know fans of Dolphins, we got to get Rasul Douglas. We got to get Rasul Douglas. Folks, he's Eli Apple 2.0. The guy can't play anymore. So I know, which just goes to show you why many of us have been scratching our heads like, what is Chris Grier doing if Rasul Douglas is the best guy on the market? Like, we screwed this up. And maybe we have. I don't know. But it sounds like he doesn't want to come to Miami, or it sounds like he's a veteran, and he is a veteran who has been in the league for a while. He's like, I don't want to go through training camp every day. And he's going to wait till middle August, late August, to sign with the team and then just show up and play week one. That's probably what he wants too. So it might be he wants more money, or he doesn't want to go through training camp every day. But I think with Miami signing Mike Hilton today and Jack Jones today, I think they probably moved on from Rasul Douglas. Now, I say that without knowing how serious these injuries are that they had today in Miami. And if they have more injuries in the secondary, like I said, I already lost Artie Burns. Kader Kohu went down early in practice. He was trying to cover Tyreek Hill. A few steps, he fell to the ground. He limped off the field. And then he went with the trainers back to the facility, and he never returned. Now, he was seen after practice walking around with a very slight limp. And I know fans, oh, he must be healthy then. No, because look, you can tear your PCL. You can have a slight tear of your MCL and stuff like that, and you're going to walk fine. You're not going to see that stuff unless you have an MRI. I remember the year Ryan Tannehill was having that great year. Was it 2016, I think? Great year. He got hurt against Arizona late in the year, tore his ACL, PCL, and MCL. He was walking around fine after the game. He was walking around fine the next morning. Yeah, because you can walk. It's not like they're going to amputate the leg, but that doesn't mean you're not hurt. So just because Kader Kohu didn't have much of a limp after practice and was just walking around doesn't mean it still might not be a serious injury. Now, look, we hope not. We hope not. But that doesn't mean he's 100% out of the woods yet. We'll probably know in the next 24 to 48 hours what's going on there. BJ Adams, that one seemed more serious in that late in practice. This was almost at the end of practice. In the team drills, he suffered a leg injury, and they carted him off the field. Now, anytime you see a cart, that's never a good sign. But then it was reported in the Miami Herald that the cart was just for precautionary reasons. And once again, he was seen also walking after practice. So again, we don't know the severity of either one of those injuries, but the fact that they lost one cornerback earlier this week, they lost two more today, went down and had to leave in the middle of practice. Not a good sign in a room that had no talent anyways at that position. So I understand why Miami went after Jack Jones. I understand why Miami signed Mike Hilton. Again, are these guys going to move the needle? Are these guys, are now you're like, watch out, Chiefs, here we come? No, not even close. The secondary went from god awful to just bad. And to get out of that, to take the next step up, they would have to do more. I don't know if they will, but that's where we are. The two new cornerbacks are in Miami. And look, Mike Hilton can play in the slot, in the nickel. So if their goal is we're going to play him there because he is older than Kader Kohu, and if they have the mindset, look, we think we can coach him up, and Kader Kohu can be someone who plays an outside cornerback role opposite Jack Jones. I hope that's their approach, because I do not want to see Mike Hilton on the outside. I want to see Mike Hilton in the slot, because he's a better slot nickel corner than Kohu is. So I'd move Kohu to the outside. I don't know if that'll be successful, but that's what I would do. We'll see. They might have a whole different idea, though. Who the heck knows? All right. Before we get to some of the other news, once again, quick shout out to everyone listening at finheaven.com. Everyone go to finheaven.com, largest Miami Dolphins message board on the internet. Also, a shout out to our friends at the I Am a Miami Dolphins fan Facebook page, run by the great and talented Carlos Hernandez. If you're on Facebook, please be sure you are part of the I Am a Miami Dolphins fan Facebook page. And wherever you're listening to this podcast, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Podbean, iHeartRadio, Audible, Podchaser, you name it, we're on it. Subscribe. When a new show drops, you want to be notified on your smart device. And we got a bunch of new interviews coming the rest of this upcoming week. We have one dropping Sunday night that is huge. We have a huge interview dropping Sunday night. You're not going to want to miss that. And we got a few more scheduled for next week. So get ready to check those out. All right, other news. Before practice today, it was announced that Minkah Fitzpatrick hired a new agent, Drew Rosenhaus, to represent him, and he wants a new contract from the Miami Dolphins. Yes, he's only been here since June 30th, but he wants a new contract from the Miami Dolphins. He wants more money, and, this past week, Minkah was supposed to talk to the media, and then it got canceled, and then he was supposed to talk the next day, and then it got canceled, and then he was supposed to talk today, and then it got canceled. And Minkah hasn't spoken to the media. I don't know if he's going to speak to the media until he gets a new contract. But here's the deal. He's making $15.5 million this year, but he has no guaranteed money on his contract after this year. And kind of the same situation that Zach Sealer is in, who, funny enough, also represented by Drew Rosenhaus. You got two guys in the same situation. They have active contracts where they're paid handsomely for this year, but they want to be paid long term and have financial security long term. And you look at the Dolphins right now, they got burned by this last year. They did not have to give Tyreek Hill a raise and a new contract last year. They did. How did that work out? They did not have to give Ramsey a raise and a new contract last year. How did that work out? And you have Minkah Fitzpatrick, and you have Zach Sealer. And in the case of Zach Sealer, he's going to approach that magical age of 30 and stuff. So you got to be careful how long you want to be tied, because we've seen in this league, once guys hit that age, they don't fall off the cliff per se, but their play starts to slow down a little bit. They start to decline. Not everyone, but you have to factor that in. And after getting burned last year twice, are the Dolphins a little bit gun shy? Now, here's what I'll say. Zach Sealer, absolutely. He has earned this. He deserves it. This is a guy who shows up every day, never causes any trouble, does it the right way, does everything correct, is everything you want in a player on your team. Zach Sealer checks every box. And oh, yeah, he's coming off back-to-back 10-sack seasons, so he produces on the field as well. He deserves an extension. How big, that's a whole other conversation, but he deserves an extension and some financial security beyond this year. And I think most fans would agree, and I'd have no problem if that happens. I don't know if it'll happen. I actually don't think it'll happen, but if it does, okay. Minkah Fitzpatrick just got here. Minkah Fitzpatrick was the guy who was here for one season and then in year 2 says, I don't want to be here anymore, trade me. Now, think about the balls it takes for a guy who's only played in one season, pretty much still a rookie in many, many ways, to say, yeah, trade me. I don't want to be here. I'm too good for you. I don't like your coach. Trade me. You want to, now he just came back. You want to invest in him? Because what's to say you don't give him what he wants? This year, Miami goes, I don't know, 6-11. And he goes, yeah, I don't want to be here next year. Trade me. And we're stuck in a Ramsey situation all over again where it's impossible to trade him because the contract's so big and he's making so much money. The cap hit's just going to cripple everything. No. Minkah, you just got here. And your first time here wasn't exactly a great experience for everyone involved. Play this year, play well, and we'll talk contract after this year. If they give Minkah Fitzpatrick what he wants, Chris Grier has learned absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. And what the worst thing he could do is if he gives Minkah what he wants and he doesn't give Zach Sealer what he wants. And that's why you get people like Raheem Mostert who say, you play in Miami, you do everything the right way, they treat you like shit. But they'll pay someone who just got there from another team who has no ties to the Dolphins. But he's already screwed Miami over once. Like, that's what they can't do. Either pay neither of them, pay them both, I guess, or pay Zach and not Minkah. They cannot only pay Minkah and not Zach. That would be suicide. But again, we're talking about Chris Grier. Not the sharpest knife in the drawer. And that's, and again, if they did something like that, stop talking about culture because it's all bullshit. Because you don't have a culture when you screw over the guys who do things the right way and you reward the guys who are just the squeaky wheel and who are, it's just, so let's see what happens. I don't think either one of them are getting paid. I think Chris Grier, after last year, he got burned so bad. I don't think anything will happen. And if something does happen, I got a feeling there probably won't be till after training camp's over and those, in that week in between training camp ending around Labor Day and week 1, which is like September 7th, 8th, 9th, something like that usually. That's when usually guys do get paid who want something like this. We'll see. But if they pay Minkah, I think they're out of their ever-loving mind. And if they pay Minkah and not Zach, they're really lost. That is such a slap in the face to Zach Sealer. I can't even put it into words. But we'll see. And if they don't pay both, you're going to have 2 frustrated, unhappy players this year, which again is going to permeate through the locker room. And yeah, but we're trying to fix the culture. That's why you don't talk about culture and stuff like that, because it's just bullshit at the end of the day. It really, really is. Okay, the Miami Dolphins had a practice on Saturday. And we're going to go through everything here. I got a lot of notes. Again, here's the deal. I always warn people. And this one was open to the public, so everyone was there to see it. With these notes here, it's practice. Guys are working on things. They're trying new things out. Don't read too much into it if someone plays great. Don't read too much into it if someone plays bad. They're not even wearing pads, so there's no hitting per se. So this is just, okay, take every note here with a grain of salt. And just, it's just good to know what's going on. Here's what I'll say, though, just from an overarching standpoint, because, this one was open to the public. I know people who are there for the ones that haven't been open to the public, and I've been told things. Here's just an overarching thing. This year, the quarterback room, especially the backups, not so much Tua, Zach Wilson and Quinn Ewers, is light years better than what they saw last year with Mike White and Skylar Thompson. Light years better. Light years better. So that's a positive. And negative is the second string offensive line is as bad as it's ever been. Now, I know it's second string for a reason, but we know starters get hurt. Okay, starters get hurt. But the second string offensive line in no pads has been absolutely awful. And the fear is when the pads go on, they're just going to get mauled. So there's that. And also, no surprise, the cornerbacks haven't been good. I mean, one made a play here, one made a play here. We're talking like plays with no pads. In general, the corners haven't been good. So the positive is the quarterback's room. The negatives, which shocking, offensive line, but not the starters, just the second string offensive line. It's just like there's nothing there. Like if someone got hurt, they're screwed. Like there's no one to step in type of deal. And overall at cornerback and even safety too, just hasn't been good. They just don't have a lot of talent there, which isn't a shock. All right, let's get through these notes. Orange jersey person today was Devon Achane. He wore the orange jersey. Defensive tackle Matt Dickerson had a sack or would-be sack on Zach Wilson. Linebacker Jordan Brooks stopped Jalen Wright in the backfield. Would have been a tackle for a loss. Zach Wilson hit D. Eskridge for a 20-yard completion. Jalen Phillips stopped Devon Achane on a running play near the line of scrimmage. Minka Fitzpatrick, he intercepted a Zach Wilson pass, which was the first interception of this entire training camp. Jack Jones, he just hit on his first day, he broke up a pass that was intended to Tariq Black. Quinn Ewers threw a long touchdown to undrafted rookie wide receiver Monterey Baldwin, who beat Cam Smith very badly on the play. That's all you need to know about Cam Smith. Tua hit Tyreek Hill on a pass where Tyreek beat both Ethan Bonner and Ashton Davis. Alec Ingold picked up a Chop Robinson. He picked him up on a rush and had a nice pass block there for a fullback, which let Zach Wilson move around in the pocket and get the pass off. James Daniels created a nice running lane for Devon Achane. Wide receiver, Tariq Black, whose name has popped up a lot here so far this week. I know there's no pads, and I know he's probably not making the team. His name has popped up a lot, though. Tariq Black beat Ethan Bonner in a one-on-one drill. Channing Tindall blew up a play in the backfield, stopping Ali Gordon the second. Second interception here, Jason Marshall Jr. with a pick six on Quinn Ewers. Second interception so far in training camp altogether. What do we got here? We got Cornell Armstrong, the new cornerback they signed. He swatted away a ball that was intended for Taj Washington. Quinn Ewers hit Tariq Black for a nice reception down the sideline. Tua hit Waddle after Waddle got wide open and beat pretty much the entire secondary. A.J. Henning, wide receiver, caught a long touchdown pass from Tua. False start by Julian Hill. Alexander Madison had a nice run behind Ryan Hayes, who was the lead blocker. Jordan Brooks stopped Achane in the backfield. Defensive tackle Ben Still got to the backfield quickly, and in the face of Quinn Ewers, of course, he let up because he can't touch a quarterback. Benito Jones had a would-be sack of Tua. Safety, undrafted rookie John Saunders Jr. He broke up a pass from Quinn Ewers to Tariq Black. And Willie Gay Jr., he batted down a pass from Tua. I'm sorry, I had one more than I thought. And finally, Zach Wilson hit wide receiver Andrew Armstrong over the middle on a beautiful catch where Armstrong had to go really low to the ground to make the catch. Everyone was oohing and on after that one. So those are some of the practice notes here today. As I always say, until they're wearing pads, none of this crap matters. Wake me up when they're in pads, because I've seen for years. And a prime example of this was Isaiah Ford. Isaiah Ford in any practice with no pads looked like Jerry Rice. He would light the field up, make everyone look dumb. He looked like the second coming. Once they put on pads, Isaiah Ford went invisible. You couldn't find him. You couldn't make a play. So take with a grain of salt when they're not wearing pads. But, I think middle of next week, they'll probably start wearing pads, and that's when we can we separate the men from the boys, as they say. Separate the men from the boys. All right, that's all for today's show, a special Saturday show. Thank you all for watching or listening. Be sure to check out the website, DolphinsTalk.com. Follow us on all social media at Dolphins Talk. If you're watching on YouTube, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel. Again, we're going to have new shows next week because there's going to be so much more news. We also got a bunch of interviews lined up Sunday night. A big one's dropping. Marissa and myself, we're going to do this interview together. It's so big, so check that one out. And we got a few more for Marissa has lined up next week as well. Everyone, have a great rest of your Saturday. Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you again after a while. And folks, don't forget, we must put an end to highway profanity. Hey everyone, Mike here from DolphinsTalk.com, and thank you for watching this video. Please be sure to take a second to smash the like button here on this video and also to ensure you're subscribed to our YouTube channel. We thank you so much for listening, and we know there are a lot of podcast options out there these days regarding the Miami Dolphins and with non-Miami Dolphins podcasts. So we do appreciate you giving us a few minutes each and every day to tune in and listen to all of our shows. Everyone here on staff, thanks you so much. And if you enjoy these shows, also please be sure to sign up for Dolphins Talk Extra, our Patreon service at patreon.com/Dolphins Talk, where we have bonus podcasts about the Dolphins and some shows not about the Miami Dolphins. We have a private message board. We also have a ton of contests where we give away really cool prizes, and it's all for the low cost of $3 a month. Again, that's patreon.com/Dolphins Talk. And also, please be sure to follow the written content we have up on our website. So check out the website, DolphinsTalk.com, each and every day. Once again, thank you again for listening. Take care, and we'll talk to you again real soon.